justice for all.
Thank you. Mr. Martin.
Heavenly Father, we come to you on this day, thanking you for everything that you've done for us, Lord God, and just looking forward to many blessings. I ask that you bless all of our citizens, Lord. Bless this city. Help us to understand that nothing we do here is about us, it's all about the citizens. And Almighty Father, I know you're about to transition one of our best friends tonight, and I hope that you have pity on him, that he get even a blessing. In Jesus' name I pray. Father, I hope you do. Yeah, we got one of our brothers. Transition.
Roll call, please.
Jeff Cavell.
Here.
Brian Core.
Here.
Clay Crater.
Here.
Lyle Copeland.
Here.
Vernon Martin.
Here.
Stephen Primo. Sammy Reggie.
Here.
Kim Stringfellow. Here. Byron Woodward. Seven present, 2 absent.
Thank you. All right. In your packet at the very end, we had put it in other business concerning the Louisiana Economic Development Program. I'm going to ask Mr. Reggie to read what he has. You could, Mr. Reggie? Yes, sir.
Dear Mayor Monson, this notice is being provided to you pursuant to the rules of the Board of the Commerce and Industry effective August 20th, 2018, specifically Title 13 of the Louisiana Administrative Code 503H1 rule. Read the next paragraph.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Pursuant to this rule, the notice is hereby given that the above reference tax exemption application for Supreme Rights LLC attached hereto, along with the corresponding Exhibit A, was approved by the board on Wednesday, April 28, 2021. Local governmental entities have 30 days to determine whether to take further action on the approval in accordance with the rule, and may provide the necessary notice to LED timely using the attached notice of action. Any local governmental entity that timely notifies LED that the above reference application has been placed on the agenda of a public meeting will have an additional 30 days to make a final determination in accordance with the rule. If the local governmental entity takes no action or does not provide timely notice of action to LED within the delays provided by the rule, then the application shall be deemed approved by that entity. And then sincerely, Christian Chang, Program Administrator.
Thank you, Mr. Reggie. Just to let everyone know that we will be taking action, and it will come back up on the agenda on June's committee, and then we'll take it from there. We'd like to thank Supreme Rice Mill and its staff for going above and beyond, and with all the renovations, it is greatly appreciated by the city of Crowley. Thank you very much. All right, next we have appearances. Jill Hobbit to introduce Janie Morrison as the new Main Street Director.
Good afternoon, everyone. I want to thank you. Hello, good afternoon, everyone. I want to thank you for the opportunity to a resident of Roberts Cove. She is a recent graduate from McNeese University with a degree in marketing. She's currently working on her MBA from the University of Louisiana at Lafayette. And she is full of energy, and I tell you what, her first day on the job was last Monday. So last week was her first week, and of course we had our art wine stroll, and we have a lot of different things going on. And she took on the challenge, and I think she did a wonderful job, and I think she's gonna be a very good asset to the Main Street program and to the city of Crowley, and we're thrilled to be working with her. So I'd like to introduce Ms. Janie Morrison.
Hi everyone, I'm really happy to be here and I'm really excited to get the ball rolling. As Ms. Jill mentioned, I started on a very busy week and we've had a really successful turnout, and thank you to everyone who attended. I really enjoyed seeing all your faces there. The month of May is going to be kind of hectic. We have our Historic Preservation Month, so we're going to be doing a huge social media blast promoting all the history that Crowley Main Street has to offer. And also we have our conference at the end of May for Louisiana Main Street. So I'm really excited to get started. Thank you so much for having me, and I'm here to help.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, next is Mr. Rick Villas wanted to update on the senior parade.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, council. First of all, I'd like to thank Chief Broussard for all of his help over the past 2 months in helping to organize this. He's been a tremendous asset, someone I've relied on and kind of leaned on a little bit, and a little bit too much, I'm sure. He kind of hates to get my calls now. Just let everyone know we did, excuse me, we did open up the parade to every high school in Acadia Parish. Last year, if you recall, we just did Crowley High because of some conflict, some timing conflicts. This year, everything worked out, and we actually have representatives from every high school within the parish that is going to be in the parade. Right now, as of whenever I left the office this afternoon, looking at the spreadsheet, we had about 65 participants. The deadline for that was today, but we all know that really doesn't mean anything with some people, so we'll still be getting applications and registrations in tomorrow and Friday. We are giving thanks to some sponsors. I want to kind of mention the sponsors: Hammer Down Construction, Unique Paint and Body, Don Shelter Chevrolet, Chad Mosso, Marianne's Flower Shop, Burger Zone, Vanilla Bean, and Shelter Corley. Thanks to those guys, we were able to provide free t-shirts for all the participants, something to commemorate them. And one final announcement we're concerned, our Grand Marshal for the parade is going to be Mr. Billy Pinack. I think with all of his service to Acadia Parish School Board, and as a teacher, I think he was the perfect representative as the first Grand Marshal for this parade. So again, thank you all, thank you Chief, thank you Mayor, thank you Council for y'all's support. And 2 o'clock Saturday afternoon, if you're not doing anything and want to come enjoy the weather, this Saturday. Want to come enjoy the weather and honor some of these graduates, y'all come out, we'll be on Parkinson. Any questions? Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, at this time, I would like to make some presentations of some proclamations, please. On behalf of the Notre Dame High School Lady Pios state champions, thank you, Mr. Kyle. Can you come up, please? And honoring Northside Christian, the Lady Warriors softball team state champions, Mr. Ryan Hannibal. Ryan. Whereas the Northside Christian School Lady Warrior softball team won the Division V state championship on May 1st, 2021. And whereas the Lady Warriors defeated Claiborne Christian High School by a score of 13-1. Whereas the citizens of Crowley, Louisiana are proud of the team's accomplishments during the 2021 softball season. Whereas Northside Christian School located in Crowley, Louisiana, has a rich history of academic and athletic progress. And whereas players, managers, coaches, officials, parents, umpires, and countless others work together in an atmosphere of wholesome community activity to provide valuable training for the participants and entertainment for the spectators. Now, I, Tim Alonso, Mayor of the City of Crowley, do hereby today, Wednesday, 12th, as the Northside Christian School Lady Warriors Softball Team Day. Whereas the Notre Dame Lady Pios softball team won the Division III state championship on May 1st, 2021. Whereas the Lady Pios defeated Holy Savior Menard High School by a score of 15-0. And whereas the citizens of Crowley, Louisiana are proud of the team's accomplishments during the 2021 softball season. And whereas Notre Dame High School of Acadia Parish, located in Crowley, Louisiana, has a rich history of academic and athletic progress. And whereas players, managers, coaches, officials, parents, umpires, and countless others work together in an atmosphere of wholesome community activity to provide valuable training for the participants and entertainment for the spectators. Now, I, Tim Alonso, Mayor of the City of Crowley, do hereby declare tomorrow, Thursday, May 13, 2021, as the Notre Dame Lady Pios Softball Team Day.
You want to move that out? Yeah, just move it to the side. Yeah, right there. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Good job, guys.
Congratulations.
Tell the ladies, good job.
Okay, agenda amendments.
We had some other speaker cards as well.
I'm going to get to them at those particular, at the particular times when
Okay.
we need to.
Okay, all right.
Yes. All right, I'm sorry. Mr. Martin?
I'd like to amend the agenda when we get to economic, community economic development, that we call to the front Reverend Dale Morgan for an award that he has received for his leadership in the community, as well as I will be announcing that he will be receiving one of the state highest awards from Louisiana Municipal Black Caucus as well. I'd like to have this done if possible when we get to community and economic development. Reverend Dale Morgan from our church.
Second.
Thank you.
All right, show of hands, please. All right, passed, thank you. Okay, we move into approval of the minutes. Regular meeting held on April 14th, 2021.
So moved.
Offered by, is it the same time? I don't know who it was.
Live.
Mr. Vogel,
Second.
seconded by Mr. Cavell. All in favor? Opposed? We move to the sales tax short. From the month, a year ago, it looks like a little bit of increase, about 16%, 80,000. But we were down from last month. About 50,000. Okay, moving on to our sewer use fee. from the month of March at about 81,000. All right. In our budget analysis, we're supposed to be at that point, about 50%, in which we are. And I don't think all of our numbers are completed in transfers, but they are pretty close. All right.
Mayor,
Yes, sir.
what is the general fund balance?
General fund balance, I do not have that number currently at this moment. Yes.
Is that something we can start getting, because I asked for it earlier today and didn't get a response?
Yes, sir, probably due to our workload, we try to prepare for the meeting, and we'll get that number to you. Oh, I'm sorry, yes, sir.
Yeah, can you also include the utility fund balance when you get those numbers?
Yes, sir.
Thank
you. All right, we'll move into standing committee reports, public works. Mr. Craig?
Thank you, Mayor. The Public Works Committee convened Wednesday, May 5th, 2021 at 4 p.m. in the council chambers, and a quorum was present. Under action items, a motion was offered by Byron Wilridge and seconded by Alderman Brad Poor to approve partial payment estimate number 2 to Triton Construction LLC for the citywide drainage improvements project in the amount of $164,716.54. That motion carried, and I so move.
Second. Offered by Mr. Prater, seconded by Mr. Martin. Discussion? Mr.
They
Mayor?
should read the citywide parking improvements.
Parking, everybody, parking?
Triton is the parking,
Okay.
For the baseball?
and Martin Luther King is it.
All right. As noted with the change. All in favor? Opposed? Thank you.
A motion was offered by myself and seconded by Alderman Byron Wilridge to approve change order number 2 to the contract with Triton Construction LLC for the 2020-2021 improvements to the city-owned parking lots to modify the old swimming pool parking lot plans to preserve existing green space with an estimated reduction in cost and an amount to be provided at this council meeting, and an estimate revised total construction contract amount to be provided at the next regular monthly council meeting. And that motion carried, and I so move.
Second.
Offered by Mr. Prater, seconded by Mr. Martin. Discussion?
I have the numbers.
Go first.
Mr. Mayor?
And the numbers, I have two numbers for you. The reduction portion of the change order is $133,897.83. 133,897.83. That's a deduct. The estimated revised total construction contract amount will be $2,146,434.28. 2,146,434.28.
And Mr. Martin?
I'm trying to comprehend what's going on here. I thought in that area we had a problem with parking. Why we, don't get me wrong, I'm all for green space. Okay? But Tim, the direct question to you, if by chance that this goes into parking, how many cars could be parked in the green space?
Don't have that number, but we did make up for that loss in other areas. And the final number we have for parking is satisfactory when you take into account all the pluses and minuses of the changes we've had so far.
So basically, this won't affect,
That's correct.
Okay, that's all. Thank you.
Mhm.
Any further discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Thank you.
Under non-action items, Public Works Director, Mr. Albert John, presented the monthly Public Works Report. Street Commissioner, Mr. Gilbert Ozing, presented the monthly Street Commissioner's Report. And City Engineer Tim Mader presented the monthly Engineer's Report. A member of the audience, Mr. Regis Ledet, addressed the committee regarding a concern that will be referred to the Drainage Board that has oversight of the drainage ditch. Alderman Byron Woolridge brought up the drainage problem at Second Street and Avenue C. The mayor took note and will have a work order prepared. Mayor also reported new computer software at City Hall should be online in the next 2 to 3 weeks, and this should take care of the issue Alderman Stringfellow raised regarding lack of notification of work orders being resolved. Discussion ensued on Alderman Stringfellow's recommendation that the city clean out ditches for better drainage and reference the area near Buckfire Park. The mayor explained the PVC pipes underneath the sidewalks of the park will have to be cleaned out to assist with standing water in the park. Tim Mader, city engineer, also suggested the outfall from Buckfire Park to the railroad track, about 6 blocks, should be examined to determine if it is blocked. There was no further business to come before the Public Works Committee, and the committee recessed.
Okay, before this committee closes, we have a speaker in reference to drainage, Mr. John Hank.
Good afternoon. Okay, y'all all got a copy of that letter that I sent out? The green mailboxes? Yes, sir. On the four-way stop sign? Okay, that was brought up at the committee meeting, but I don't know where it went. But I have a petition from everybody on 1200 block for a stop sign up Fire and Taylor. Up Fire 14th Street. And I'm gonna work on the other side later. So, y'all don't have, nobody got a copy of this. Here's the petitions and the names. There's 11 people that live on that block. So I expect this to be good to go, to put a dog on stop sign, a four-way stop at up Fire and 14th Street, slow that traffic down. So, I don't know what y'all want to vote on, or what y'all want to do, we're gonna go from here.
Yes, sir. Chief, was there a traffic study done on that area?
Yes, sir, and Mr. Bell asked for the recommendation. The recommendation was, first of all, for the council to reduce the speed limit on that particular street because it was at 30, and West 15th Street is at 25. So to be concurrent with West 15th Street, the recommendation was for 25 miles per hour for West 14th. Also, the recommendation was for signage for speed limit because there was not very many, if any, signages maybe by the park as far as speed limits. And then the final recommendation was a stop sign either at Taylor or Uptown.
So that, we're going to give, is it a three or four-way?
Four-way.
So that's what you recommend, your personal opinion, four-way being conclusive?
Four-way, yes, once you also reduce the speed limit as a council and also put signage up.
Mr. Reagan.
I always wanted the difference between Taylor and how far the number of blocks between the next stop signs.
1 block.
One, not really.
Did y'all read that map I give y'all? Okay, the 1200 block of 14th Street is actually a block and a half. Between the 1100 block is 3 blocks. There's no streets in between. So they can get it on like they want to. And reducing the speed to 25 is just it's gonna help. But we need some way to stop the traffic. Because if they come off of Buac, they gotta stop there and Huff Bar, they're not gonna be speeding in front of my house. If they're coming down from the, Western Avenue, when they get to that Huff Bar, they got to stop, they're not gonna be speeding in front of my house.
Chief?
The people living on the 1200 block, they all was for it next time. From there, I don't know what y'all want to do.
Chief, would you be so kind and to emailing me your recommendations, please?
Yes, sir. I will be glad to.
Thank you. And that way, whatever necessary action we have to take, we can put it on the agenda in case if there's ordinance change. Yes, sir, Mr. Martin?
Okay, so you say you have a petition. Is that petition signed from end to end?
From what?
From end to end, in other words, from the beginning of, whether it's Buell or what have you, all the way down to
That's the 1200 block,
the 1200 block?
which is the end of 14th Street, and the block and a half in it, Huff Bar.
So it encompasses how many, blocks?
Then you got 3 blocks.
Okay.
Okay, it goes to
I guess in your map, but I was kind of confused.
Well, I'm not finished, I'll get the rest of it.
Okay.
But I wanted this tonight.
Okay.
We need to act on this and do something about it. If somebody's gonna get killed, a kid's gonna get killed, the kid's riding a bicycle going down, our son walks in, he rides in a wheelchair with an aid walking. They're coming down there, they zoom around and keep going. If one of them hits it, sit here crying about it. I can tell you.
What I would ask this council, let's face the facts, nobody knows what goes on, like people that's in the mix of that. Chief, I don't know what your final recommendation is gonna be, but, in situations like that, when you have everyone that's accountable on the streets asking for something, I think this council needs to, without a doubt, not change the rules, but understand the rules. And I think if we understand the rules, everybody wants it. It's their block. So I'm just shooting that out there. So whatever the recommendation is, I hope that is a favorable for it. Thank you.
Okay, then the other issue is with the water, which you went road down through there. Okay, the real culprit is at the end of UF. The covers are plugged up, they always collapse, and I got pictures of all this stuff. That showed the council, and Tim Baylor seen them, and Tim's gonna come out there when Greg was there, and we got nothing done. So it's time to act. You know, and you cannot go down, go east of there and try to fix the problem to the west. You gotta go to the end where it floods. The water does not drain on the Buac, it goes, the other northern, then goes west. You got a cover right there, a 20-inch cover flood solid. You know, who's got to keep the covers up? Not mine, not over there. You got a 30-inch cover, a 15-inch cover draining into it. That's not my problem, that's the city's problem. And the city owns all these ditches. Those 3 ditches are owned by the city problem. The one that's covered in 30-inch pipe and the one on the end. Brad can tell you that.
Thank you, Mr. Haynes.
We need to face the real issues. You know, it's just like Northern Avenue, you spend $600,000 fixing Northern Avenue, you still got 18 inches of water on it. That's not a fix. You know?
Thank you, Mr. Haynes. Time's up. Thank you.
Okay,
So I hand it back to you in a minute.
go ahead and look at it.
Mayor, is this drainage issue on our citywide drainage improvement project, Mr. Mayor? Is this something that could be looked into, or is it being looked into?
It was looked into, and the outfall for northern, if we're talking about Northern Avenue at D, I think, is where the 18 inches of water was reported in this rainfall, and it was reported a few years back in another similar rainfall. The outfall is down, basically, Avenue D all the way to the center ditch. It's a subsurface drainage system that was installed many, many years ago. To improve drainage at Northern and D would need to remove and replace, it's gonna be something on the order of 6 blocks of drainage. it's very, very expensive. That was not changed at the time because it was so expensive, it's not affordable. The type of rainfall that would cause 18 inches of water at Avenue D and Northern is not the type of rainfall that we would design for anyway, just standard practice is you design for a 10-year storm or a 15-year storm or a 5-year storm. And the size of the culverts, in order to take care of a 25-year or 50-year storm would just be not affordable.
And we tell them now that, what kind of cost are we talking about? I mean, have we done the estimates?
Well, I don't have it in front of me, but I could get it because we did it at the time. But I can tell you there's no money in any budget right now to tear up the subsurface drainage system from northern to the center ditch and replace it with something bigger. And then I would replace it with something bigger that still wouldn't have handled the storm that fell this week by standards of practice.
Mr. Martin?
Well, I understand the cost, but I guess y'all seen these pictures.
Yes.
This is deployed. Okay, there's no way in the world water can flow. That's still, they gotta be, this thing has to be stopped up. Okay, you got, man, some of the, I mean, come on, man, you gotta do better than this. Okay, the water's there. At least go and get the camel truck and try and suck out as much as possible. Right there in Ray, Louisiana, you call Chuck and give you the machine that they put up, or that they built. And that'll solve a lot of your problems. Because I think if you take out the silt and these two pipes right here, you get water flow.
I've got ditches that's supposed to be cleaned since last November. Yeah, he said he cleaned the ones over there, he didn't clean them. They're supposed to clean the ditch, but they didn't clean it.
Well, sir,
And that's one of the big problems on Northern Avenue, that 20-inch pipe is plugged up, you can't handle the water coming. All the water comes down Northern Avenue and goes under, and then goes under Northern Avenue, and goes west. It's supposed to go straight west, but it turns.
well, I'm looking at the weeds coming through the grade right here. The only way grass grows, they got to have soil inside.
And then you got a 15-inch cover,
It
and
needs to be done.
they continue to both sides.
Come back to the, come back to the.
It's not, Ms. Stringfellow, time's up. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but still, no, man, we be time up, it's time.
His time is up, Ms. Stringfellow. Ms. Stringfellow, you are out of order, Ms. Stringfellow. Come on. He already came up, and we have to be equal to everyone, Ms. Stringfellow. No, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you for the pictures. Thank you, Mr. Martin. Okay, next, we're gonna close the committee. Next is utility committee. Mr. Martin?
Ladies and gentlemen, Ray readings from the LMA crawfish ball and David Chan talked to John.
Can't hear you too
I'm
good.
sorry. Ray readings of the LMA Senate, their readings to everyone. Question was, why are you the only one here? I said, well, we got committed. It's a good thing that I'm here. But we had a good time. We talked to a lot of legislators. We had a chance to talk to our treasurer, Crowley. I don't know if y'all know it or not, but they are actually now saying people coming to them, they're gonna mail out those checks.
We can't hear you.
I'm sorry, I don't know what's going on. Something else?
Can I get up, Mayor? Is that allowed?
Okay, I think it's on now, Kim.
Thank you, Kim.
Thank you. Just took you walking, you see that? But anyway, I spoke to our treasurer, Schroeder, and he told me straight up, he had so many checks from the unclaimed department over there, that he was actually calling cities. If he lived in the city, come get me. I said, man, I'm not taking nobody's check. But the routine now is that they're gonna be mailing out the checks. Whatever physical address that they had, the last address is going to. So, let your constituents know, that check their mailbox. They have unclaimed funds that they didn't even know about. But he did call Acadia Parish, and he called Crowley, Ray, and I think Iota. So, somebody gonna get a present, I guess. But he did tell me some of it might be $10,000, some might be $1.50. But it is their property, so they just give it to them. But with that being said, I'll go ahead and yield to the vice chair. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Martin. The Utility Committee convened Wednesday, May 5th, 2021 at 4 p.m. in the council chambers. Quorum was present. Under action items, a motion was offered by Alderman Jeff Cavell and seconded by Alderman Clint Crater to authorize a resolution including a proposed ordinance to amend and reenact section 10-30, division 1.5, sewer service user fee charges, to provide for an exemption for the Acadia Parish Sheriff's Office and Detention Center facilities located on Capitol Avenue, and to call for a public hearing regarding same. Motion carried, I so move.
Second. Comes together, I don't know. Okay. Mr. Crater, seconded by Mr. Crater. Offered by Mr. Reggie, seconded by Mr. Crater. This is just to set a date for the public hearing. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
All right, thank you.
A motion was offered by Alderman Jeff Cavell and seconded by Alderman Clint Crater to authorize the mayor to execute amendment number 5 to the standard form of agreement for professional services for the installation of a comminutor at the city of Crowley's main sewage pump station. Motion carried, I so move.
Offered by Mr. Reggie, seconded by Mr. Martin. Discussion.
Yes.
Mr. Gordon?
What is the expenditure for this committee?
Mr. Mayor?
We've estimated it, I don't remember the precise number, it's in your packet, my engineer's report, but I think the total cost is around $600,000.
And where are these funds coming from for this expenditure?
$400,000 from a capital outlay grant, and 200, whatever the difference is, from SRF funds, from SRF funds.
So this will not come from the general fund?
No, sir.
Thank you.
Mr. Crater?
Yes, I read in the paper where it said the utility fund was defunct or something like that, and according to the auditor's report, there was $1,465,322 in that fund at the end of the fiscal year last year. I was just wondering, that's why I asked the question about what was in that fund, because we have this project coming up. I don't know how we're gonna fund it, but it'd be very, very important for us to know exactly what's in that fund. But all we have is from last September. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
Under non-action items, wastewater superintendent Tim Crater presented the monthly wastewater report. City engineer Tim Mader presented the monthly engineer's report, and there was no further business to come before utility committee, and the committee recessed.
Thank you for filling in. Next, Mr. Primo is not here. Recreation Committee, Mr. Crater.
Thank you, Mayor. The Recreation Committee meeting convened Wednesday, May 5th, 2021 at 4 p.m. in the council chambers, and a quorum was present. Under action items, a motion was offered by myself and seconded by Alderman Jeff Cavell to approve application for payment number 4 from E.L. Habits Builders Incorporated for Crowley Crowley Rice Festival building renovations in the amount of $57,970.53. That motion carried, and I so move.
Second.
Offered by Mr. Crater and seconded by Mr. Cavell. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
A motion was offered by myself and seconded by Alderman Jeff Cavell to approve project architect Josh Hookfire's recommended final administrative change order for the Rice Festival building renovations and repairs construction contract with E.L. Habits Builders to include a reduction of AV allowance by $5,000 and additional days due to material delays and roof issues contingent upon facility plan That motion carried and I so move.
Offered by Mr. Krieger, seconded by Mr. Core. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
A motion was offered by myself and seconded by Alderman Lyle Fogelman to authorize the mayor to execute the certificate of substantial completion for the Rice Festival building renovations and repairs construction contract with EL Habits Builders contingent upon facility planning and control approval. That motion carried and I so move.
Offered by Mr. Prater and seconded by Mr. Martin. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
Under non-action items, Peter Kirsch, Recreation Director, presented the monthly Recreation Department report. 4 tournament events have been held at the Recreation Department's new turf fields since the last committee meeting in April, and another tournament will be held this weekend with 60 teams. He was happy to report the artificial turf is performing as it was designed, and he described how after several days of rain, the fields were playable. Lighting of the fields is not yet complete, but it should be finished soon. The director also reported he received a budget estimate from an electrician for installation at the MLK Center of the old outdoor field lighting formerly used at the Recreation Department fields. The estimate was $95,000. Director Kirsch hopes to have another estimate that is less expensive by the next committee meeting in June. City Engineer Tim Mader presented the monthly engineer's report, and there was no further business to come before the Recreation Committee, and the Recreation Committee recess.
Okay. Mr. Martin?
Yes. Okay, I don't know about $95,000. Well, it is what it is. Well, where are we with the restroom? Last time we spoke about it, you were supposed to have an architect.
We did that, yes, sir.
What's the outcome of it?
The plans for you guys, and we had discussed at one of the last meetings, if you guys would mind and joining me with that plan. I wanted to make sure it was, receive some of your approval as well.
Yeah, it's a restroom.
Okay?
I mean,
Got it.
you don't,
Whatever you like. If you're okay with the plans as given, then we'll move forward.
thank you.
Yes, sir. All right. Thank you for sitting in, Mr. Grader. Next is zoning and annexation. Mr. Fogelman?
Thank you, Mayor. Zoning and Annexation Committee convened Wednesday, May 5th, 4 p.m. in the council chamber, and a quorum was present. Under action items, a motion was offered by myself and seconded by Alderman Sammy Reggie after taking into consideration the favorable recommendation of the Crowley Planning Commission to table the request for variance of ordinance 7.701 for Bass Limited to erect 2 digital billboards, with one being at the southwest corner of Highway 11 and Tower Road, and the other being located at the northeast corner of North Parkerson Avenue and Oddfellows Road, with the following stipulations applying to both billboards. Each billboard not to exceed the size of 12 feet by 24 feet. Each billboard not to exceed an overall height of 37 feet. And one side of the billboard being electronic and the other side of the billboard being static. The motion carried, and I so move.
Offered by Mr. Fogelman, seconded by Ms. Stringfellow. And there's no discussion, and all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
Under non-action items, City Engineer Tim Mader presented the monthly engineer's report, and at that point, there was no further business to come before zoning and annexation, so the committee recessed.
Okay. Thank you. Next, public safety, Mr. Core.
Thank you, Mayor. Public Safety Committee convened Wednesday, May 5th, 2021 at 4 p.m. in the council chambers. The quorum is present. At this time, I'd like to recognize Fire Chief Louis Romero.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, council members. I'd like to take this time to introduce two of the newest members of the Crowley Fire Department. The first person I'm gonna introduce, out of 19 people that started the academy, 15 that finished, he was the valedictorian of the rookie school, and that is Stephen Leger. And the second guy is Jason Worth Jr. These guys went to the academy for 16 straight weeks. They left on Sundays, they stayed till Fridays, they were away from their family. They learned the basics of firefighting, and now it's my job and my administration's job to teach them the rest on the job. So thank y'all for your time.
Thank you. Under action items, a motion was offered by myself and seconded by Alderwoman Kim Stringfellow to approve the request of Police Chief Jimmy Broussard for an appropriation of $13,690.41 from the general fund to the police department's budget line item 100-44-106, emergency overtime, for services performed during the Hurricane Laura event, August 26th through 31, 2020, and referring the matter to the Revenue and Finance Committee for further action. The federal cost share is 90% if approved by FEMA. The motion carried. A motion was offered by myself and seconded by Alderwoman Kim Stringfellow to approve the request of Police Chief Jim Broussard for appropriation of $41,443.69 from the general fund to the police department's budget line item 144-106, emergency overtime, for services performed during the Hurricane Delta event, October 7th through the 13th, 2020, and referring the matter to the Revenue and Finance Committee for further action. Note, the federal cost share is 75% if approved by FEMA. The motion carried. A motion was offered by myself and seconded by Alderwoman Kim Stringfellow to approve the request of Police Chief Jimmy Broussard for an appropriation of funds from the general fund into the police department's budget line item 144-347, computer info technology, for the purchase of E4 software, and referring the matter to the Revenue and Finance Committee for determination of expenditure and further action. The motion carried. A motion was offered by myself and seconded by Alderwoman Kim Stringfellow to approve the request of Police Chief Jimmy Broussard for appropriation of funds from the general fund to the police department's budget line item 100-44-347, computer info technology, for the purchase of 5 laptop computers and software for patrol units utilized during each shift, installation of mounted hardware and wiring in all patrol units, and referring the matter to the Revenue and Finance Committee for determination of expenditure and further action. The motion carried. A motion was offered by myself and seconded by Alderwoman Kim Stringfellow to approve the request of Police Chief Jimmy Broussard for the addition of 4 police officer slots intended primarily for traffic enforcement, and referring the matter to the Revenue and Finance Committee for determination of expenditure and further action. The motion carried. The following items did not go to committee, and I will refer to these action items now. To consider issuing a rule to show cause for condemnation for lots 19 through 20 of Block 6 of the Walker addition to the city of Crowley, Louisiana, bearing municipal address of 309 Northwestern Avenue, Crowley, Louisiana, 70526, belonging to Louisiana Foundation of Christ's Sanctified Holy Church, and setting a public hearing for same, and I so move.
Second. Okay, that was offered by Mr. Core, seconded by, I didn't get that, Mr. Cadell. A Again, this is only to set a date.
Yes.
All in favor? Opposed?
Next, to consider issuing a rule to show cause for condemnation of lots 15 and 16 of block 111 of the city of Crowley, Louisiana, bearing a municipal address of 606 West 6th Street, Crowley, Louisiana, 70526, belonging to Theron Harrison and Rose Marie B. Harrison, and setting a public hearing for same. And I so move. Second.
Offered by Mr. Corr, seconded by Mr. Cavell. All in favor? Opposed? Okay, next.
Next, to consider issuing a rule to show cause for condemnation of lot 10 of block 82, lot 400, IMP 1340 B4-1117, lot size 50 by 150 of the city of Crowley, Louisiana, bearing a municipal address of 512 West 5th Street, Crowley, Louisiana, 70526, belonging to Wayland Abear and Justin Senegal Abear, and setting a public hearing for same. And I so move. Second.
Offered by Mr. Corr, seconded by Mr. Cavell. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
Next, to consider a resolution introducing an ordinance to amend and reenact sections 4-1 and 4-18 of Article 1 of Chapter 4 of the Code of Ordinances, and to set a public hearing for same. And I so move.
Offered by Mr. Corr,
Second.
seconded by Mr. Cavell. And what this is pertaining to is our code of ordinances for feral cats. And we have some people from Hacias, and Miss Emma is here if we have any questions to be asked, but she assured me she has it all under control. And it's actually to be able to help, to be able to find homes for these cats and to be able to get them care that they need. Am I correct, Ms. Emma? Okay. Yes, Ms. Stringfellow?
Why didn't this go through committee? Just curious.
I apologize, Mr. Reagan was just able to get it done for me just a day ago. Sorry. That's why and again, it's just also to say,
And Mr. Rick will have the revised ordinance for us to review.
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Time.
Yes, sir. Okay, well, I'm sorry, Mr. Martin?
Warren here. I don't know what just happened here.
Okay,
Oh, wait, hold on. I'm not talking about this last thing. Do y'all realize that y'all were voting on non-action items, and the action items, nobody said anything? Is there a reason for that? I mean, I wasn't here, so I don't need to tell me.
Voting on.
what happened here.
voting on non-action items?
You just voted on, according to what we have right here, these are non-action items, and it was a vote. But when we came down to police and
Where is
whatever.
their
why wasn't
non-action
it voted?
item? Where is their non-action item?
Yes, I'm looking at the agenda, but I'm trying to figure out,
Right here on this sheet, Mr. Martin.
and that's the sheet I'm looking at.
Public safety, these are all action items to be considered tonight.
They just didn't go through committee.
Because, and Mr. Corr announced that they were not taken up in committee.
But why wasn't it amended at the beginning of the meeting?
It was on the agenda. It's on the agenda, Mr. Martin.
Well, okay, if y'all, when will the vote come in for,
And it's just to set a public hearing. Those are the dates just to set a public hearing, and it's gonna be on June 9th.
other than that, what about the situation with the police department? Are we voting on that tonight?
No, sir,
Why is that not?
because that was tabled, and it's not for discussion.
It was tabled.
Yes, sir.
It's transferred to finance.
Okay.
It was tabled.
For the table.
The motion carried in public safety, it was referred to finance,
Okay,
and then when it got to finance, every item was tabled.
wasn't there a vote on? Was the vote tabled? Was that the vote?
Table, yes.
That was 3 against 2. That was the vote.
3 against 2.
No discussion.
No.
Well,
Okay.
that's up for interpretation.
continue, I'm sorry. So just to let everybody know, all of those rules to show cause for public hearing will be on June 9th. June 9th.
That's our next council.
Yes, sir, that's the next council meeting, and you will have that information prior to that.
Yeah, I mean, y'all do know that this is public safety. Okay? All the things that's happening in this city. You gonna table something, I mean, when I read it, in Baton Rouge, I watched it, I just couldn't believe it. Okay, so you're kicking the can down the road for another 30 days. When are we supposed to have, you table it until when?
I don't have that date, Mr. Martin, but it's not open for discussion, I apologize.
Man, you keep talking, it's not open for
I
discussion,
apologize, Mr. Martin, it's not open for discussion at this moment.
but you do know that this is public safety.
Yes, sir, I do. And you keep bringing it up in public safety, and we're trying to let Mr. Corder finish with his.
I'm bringing it up, and apparently you don't wanna bring it up. Okay?
Mr. Martin, please.
Well, I mean, I'm trying to figure, look, this is public.
Yes,
You know, and someone sent a text about tabling.
Mr. Martin, please, you asked the question and we answered, okay, so, okay, Mr. Cord, you may continue, thank you. Mr. Cord?
Under non-action items, the Chief of Police, Sheriff Broussard, presented the monthly police report. Police Department report.
Okay, let's go back to it.
Ms. Stringfellow, you're out.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I know they voted. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay. That's why I never did vote.
Thank you, Mr. Cord.
Under non-action items, Chief of Police, Sheriff Broussard, presented the monthly police department report. Fire Department Chief Louis Romero was absent, but I read the report presented by the fire chief. City Inspector Tony Duhon was again absent. I presented Mr. Duhon's monthly report. Alderman Cavell requests an update on Chief Broussard's study of the need for a four-way stop at the corner of West 14th and Powell Avenue. Chief Broussard recommends before installing the four-way stop sign, trying to reduce the speed of vehicles by putting up speed limit signs in the area and reducing the current speed limit from 30 miles per hour to 25 miles per hour. Chief Broussard also indicated he would assess the need for changing the school zone times, which are currently from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. to 6:30 a.m. to 8:30 a.m. Detective Ryan Temple of the Crowley Police Department addressed the committee on the growing threat of two gangs in Crowley, STK, Shoot to Kill, and RVC, Rome Village Crew. Detective Temple requested the council take action on two things. One, put more officers on the road, as there hasn't been an increase in police officers on the road in 30 years. And two, form a special committee to address the cultural crisis in the city, with the committee members being religious leaders, community leaders, and council members. I remarked that I'd like to reestablish a committee, which was formed in 2019, to address the crime issues in Crowley. Mr. Regis Ledet addressed the committee regarding his recent pistol whipping and was unhappy with the way the police department handled the situation. When police arrived at the scene, the police officer removed the bullet from the pistol's chamber and gave the pistol back to the aggressor. This incident occurred outside of the city limits and did not involve the Crowley Police Department. I would like to clarify. Mayor also addressed Alderwoman Stringfellow's request for an update on the Litter and Blight Advisory Board and its relationship to CAB, Citizens Against Blight. The mayor recognized Mr. Tracy Young as the new president of the Litter and Blight Advisory Board, and the mayor will provide an answer at the June's committee meeting as to the working relationship between CAB and the Litter and Blight Advisory Board. Mayor also responded to Alderwoman Stringfield's request for an update on the cooperative endeavor agreement with the Katy Parish Police Jury regarding the surveillance cameras. He has spoken to Secretary Treasurer of the Police Jury, Brian Morrell, and at this point, there's no grant awarded to the police jury for the cameras. The mayor stated a cooperative endeavor agreement must have details and information on the grant before the city could be in a position to execute it. Mr. Rich Hughes with CAB addressed the committee with an update on CAB's progress. A map of the entire city being put together by Tim Mater and Katie Alamon will soon be ready. Everyone will be able to see the location of blighted properties on the color-coded map. Mr. Hughes encouraged the hiring of another employee in the code enforcement department. As the condemnations continue to occur, additional help will be needed. Mr. Hughes also addressed his concern for the need of a four-way stop at each corner of Bailey Park, and he was told Chief Broussard would have to do a study of the area to determine if there was a need. There was no further action to come before the Public Safety Committee, and the committee recessed.
All right, before we close public safety, we have all right, before we close public safety, we have Mr. Richard Hughes.
Good evening. You're on.
Well, I'll speak loud. All we,
There we go.
the steering committee would like to know the status on the blight court judge and also the attorney that was going to take over all of code enforcement.
The last I heard, he would get back to me, and I have not heard anything since Friday.
For either position?
Yes, sir, for both gentlemen.
Thank you.
Next, Miss Kathy Spell.
Okay, Jim, I need to know one thing. I need you to answer this. Who is the mayor of Crowley, Louisiana that we voted in? 2 weeks I've been calling your office. Left my name, left a message, not only to your secretary too. Did you ever return my call? No, because it's Kathy Spell calling about a complaint. The city ain't just yours. It's everybody's. We voted you in, okay? I have a funny feeling. I'm gonna tell you now, you're not gonna win again.
Well, I absolutely agree with you that
I
it
do too.
belongs to the citizens.
Why
of
you
Crowley.
never returned the call?
And I did return the
weeks.
call with no
Today
answer.
at 4:50, I got no
Yes,
money.
ma'am, I did. And I'll
Today,
be- I'll
after
admit
2
it.
weeks,
Yes, ma'am.
okay? You promised to keep that property. You would see, keep checking on that property.
And we did.
You better go back, buddy. I gotta take a picture of it. I got it on my phone.
I know.
It's going back. Okay, did the man get a citation
Yes, he
again?
did.
Oh, she did?
Yes.
Who's a she? It's a he.
I'm sorry.
Why she got a citation again?
Because it belongs to the company and the lady works for the company and we brought it to their office.
Read the ordinance. Says the owner. Why is the secretary getting it? So you're gonna run a red light and your secretary's gonna get a ticket because she works for you? Hell no.
Just in case if you don't know, whenever you serve something to someone.
It
it's whoever-
says to the owner of the property.
it's-
So you're telling me
And
my,
also, when you serve someone of 18 years or older, they can,
read your city ordinance. It says the owner of the property. It doesn't say the worker of the property.
yes, ma'am.
The owner. So you're telling me you're gonna serve my son the ticket of my property? No, it comes to me. Really? Come on, Tim. It's time you get up and do your job.
No, I'm doing
All
my
these
job.
people, you
Thank
cut this poor old man down that was trying to get his problem, you don't let them talk. It's our city, let us talk and see what's wrong with our city. This poor lady, I felt embarrassed for her, what you did. I felt embarrassed what you did to Miss Stringfellow. That was a disgrace. You're the mayor. Channel 10 will hear about this tomorrow. He was supposed to come, but there was an incident came up because I talked to him. He was gonna be standing right here. I wish you to talk to him like that in front of him, in front of Channel 10. Come on, man. This man tried talking, you cut him down. These people, you should be like, hello, you're not Jesus Christ, Lord. You're at the same level. Just because that name mayor in front of your name, I don't have mayor, but I'll tell you one thing. If you want, how many citations you gave? Tell me. The last number was 007 in 2 years. Not, I bet you they 008 until tomorrow, unless you're backdated. This is a bunch of bull. These people have the right to stand up here and say what they gotta say. You right here, this man, you cut him off because he was helping this old man try to solve a problem. She said something, and you cut her off like a dog. She is not. She is a young lady. This is a gentleman. I don't care if you're black, green, orange, Japanese, I don't care. Come on, Tim. It looks like you should make us feel good. You should make us feel good. Like, I want to hear your problem. Come on, tell me, I'm here for you. I'm the mayor. You're not. You're cutting these people. You treated her like a freaking dog. If it had been me, they put me in jail because I'd have jumped over that county. If I was her, I'd have tore you up. They'd arrest me. Because that was rude.
Be careful, Ms. Kathy, be careful with your statement.
You were rude.
Thank you,
Charlie.
thank you, Ms. Kathy Spain.
Well, is that grass gonna be done? You cutting me off too.
Yes, ma'am, your time is up and it's equal just to everyone else.
2
Thank you.
minutes while it's our city. 2 minutes to
Thank you,
talk.
thank you, Ms. Bell.
You're so damn rude.
Next, Mr. Shane Schettler.
Mayor, if you would answer Mr. Morton, maybe you'll answer me, because I come here as a citizen today. I want you to know, it's not you, but I observed, I got to listen to what was said last week. Let me explain something to you guys. Thank you, Mr. Vogel, because you made me who I am today. You know what I'm talking about. When I was 18. For 34 years, I've been in public service, 20 years military, special forces. I retired. I went to work for the feds. I went to work for a small town municipality. Now with the state. Who I work for, where I work at is irrelevant. I chose to come back to this town because this is home. I was in Hawaii for 13 years. I could have stayed there. This is home. There's a gang problem. I said it a year ago. Mr. Core is my witness. And obviously, y'all have dealt with gangs before. For the 6 years, I was in gang unit. I dealt with MS-13, I dealt with Bloods, I dealt with Crips, and I dealt with Area Brotherhood. If you don't do something, and do something quick, they will take over. Sure as I'm standing here today. If they could, trust me, it's no joke. There are innocent people getting picked off one by one. Houses getting shot at, kids getting killed. If my kid gets killed, God forbid.
Thank you, Mr. Schettler. We now close public safety. Next is public buildings. Mr.
I believe I have a speaker card, Mr. Mayor. I believe I have a speaker card for public safety.
Oh, no, sir, I was using that as, when you got up to speak, I apologize.
No.
You do have a speaker card.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay, real quick, we only got 2 minutes. Mr. Core, whenever you presented everything last week at the committee meeting, were you aware of the general fund balance?
No, sir.
Okay, it was stated today in the Crowley paper, this morning in the Crowley paper, that Mr. Primo was quoted as saying that the general fund balance is under $1 million. Is that accurate, Mr. Mayor?
Can't answer that question right this second.
That's a big number. Mr. Primo stated it was under $1 million. Either Mr. Primo's correct or Mr. Primo is incorrect. Is he correct or incorrect?
Like I said, I can't answer that question right this second and tell you whether he's correct or incorrect.
You don't know if there is $1 million, under $1 million, or over $1 million?
We're not finished reconciling just yet.
So where would he get this number from?
Sir?
Where would he have gotten this
I
number
have
from?
no idea where Mr. Primo got that number from.
To the rest of the council, this tabling issue that happened, want to warn y'all very quickly, this is the subsequent meeting to that table. If it is not taken off of the table tonight and addressed, it is a dead issue, okay? The person who tabled it does not have to be the person to take it off the table. Whenever it gets back to the Revenue and Finance, someone needs to make a motion to take it off the table and vote. And again, there is no discussion on that as well. It is taken off the table and then it can be discussed. Do not let Mr. Cabell bully all of you like he's been bullying y'all all this time. Okay? He bullies the council, he bullies individual members of the council, bullies the police department and the chief, and in turn is bullying the citizens of Crowley. He has his own ward member that won't even sit by him because of the disparaging remarks he makes during the meetings. Do not allow him to bully y'all into not addressing this. Okay? This man called me Saturday evening, yelling, hollering, and screaming, initially calling me an idiot because I disagreed with him. Wow,
that's a councilman.
Okay? And I know you find it funny.
Excuse me, Mr. Mayor.
All right, I'm sorry, he's speaking, hang on 1 second.
And
Take it personal, Mr. Bill.
I'm sorry.
Be careful when you're taking it personal. I mean, you're.
I wasn't taking, wait a minute.
I'm sorry, let me rephrase that. You are directing personal accusations, but it's okay, please be careful.
Sure.
Please be careful, thank you.
Sure,
Continue.
okay. With that being said, do not allow the bullying to continue, okay? Just because a certain member of this council is the chairman of the purse strings does not mean that he controls this whole council. Do not let him continue to do this. Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Rick, you just stole my surprise. Damn sure was coming off the 10.
Sorry about that, Steph. Sorry about that,
I
Steph.
apologize.
I tried to be germane on that. I apologize.
Easy man on it.
All right. Okay, next is public buildings. Let's see, he's not here, Ms. Stringfellow.
Thank you, Mayor. The Public Buildings Committee convened Wednesday, May 5th. We had a quorum, there were no action items, nor were there any non-action items. And there was no further business to come before the Buildings Committee, and the committee recessed.
Thank you. Next is insurance and personnel, Ms. Stringfellow.
Thank you, Mayor. The Insurance and Personnel Committee convened Wednesday, May 5th, 2021. There were no action items. Under non-action items, Mayor Monso stated that the city clerk, Erin Crater, had retired and is currently on vacation. He stated her official retirement date was June 1st, 2021. The mayor also stated that he made some changes at the office and had other people in place at the moment and are operating very well and performing all the duties necessary. I questioned the mayor as to why he did not inform the council of her impending departure, stating that the council has every right to be informed for greater transparency. The mayor stated that whenever the time comes regarding the appointment of a new city clerk, it will be on the agenda. The mayor also stated that Ms. Crater would be coming in on Fridays to sign papers. I then asked why someone else's name was on current ordinances and resolutions presented to the council that evening. The mayor stated that an interim city clerk, who is a certified deputy clerk, had been put into place, and that he doesn't know how long said person will be in the position. I asserted that the council should have
Ms. Stringfellow, excuse me, please read your report. Thank you.
I am reading.
No, ma'am, you're reading your own report. Please read the report. Thank you.
I am reading the report.
You are reading your personal report. Please read.
Right, because my minutes weren't correct, so I'm reading the minutes.
Please read the report. Thank you.
I'm reading the minutes.
No, ma'am, the minutes are right here.
Ain't enough of this bullshit. Let the woman read the
Mr.
damn
Martin,
report.
you are out of order.
I don't give a damn about
I want him removed, please.
No.
I want him removed.
Who's gonna remove it?
You remove him. Bring your ass over here, you remove him. okay? Enough of this. Every time she says something, you talking about bullying some damn body.
No, I'm not
Let
talking
me tell you
about
something.
anything, no, sir.
I don't know what happened here
No,
last
sir,
week.
Mr. Martin, you are out of
But
order,
you-
and
I
I
just
can
wanna let you
remove,
know.
please.
Next time you get out of hand with her, I'm gonna knock you on your ass, okay?
Another threat.
No, it's not a threat, that's a promise,
Okay?
okay?
Sure.
Man, I never seen that. You
Steph, it's okay, I'll just.
No,
read-
enough of this,
I'll just
enough of this,
read
man.
their minutes.
cause,
Steph, don't leave, don't leave. It's okay, don't leave.
to leave.
Yes, he does.
Sit down, Steph, it's okay, it's okay. I'll just read the minutes that they wrote. Okay.
This transparency,
I tell you what,
out of order, thank you.
I tell you what, outside, I'll be outside.
It's this transparency.
Continue, Ms. Stringfellow, thank you.
Well,
It's
that's
this
basically it.
transparency.
So. That's pretty much
But then
it.
we won't be able to bring that.
Move on.
Insurance personnel recess? Thank you. Community and Economic Development, Mr. Reggie.
Community and Economic Development Committee convened Wednesday, May 5th, 2021 at 4 p.m. in the council chambers. A quorum was present. Under action items, there were none. Under non-action items, Jill Habits and Chloe Delory addressed the committee to discuss a grant opportunity for resurveying Crowley and adding residential and commercial properties to the current historic district and possible extending the historic district boundary lines. The grant application Ms. Dure will write is for $20,000. Crowley Main Street hopes to partner with the city, and each entity will provide one half or $5,000 of the 50% match to ensure the grant. Then I announced the Art and Wine Stroll that was May 8th from 5 to 8 p.m. located on historic North Parkerson Avenue. Proceeds from the event will support Crowley Main Street and the Crowley Art Association. I will say that it was also a big hit again this year. I also announced the Louisiana Main Street will have its quarterly meeting at the Grand Opera House of the South, May 26th and 27th, and the directors of the main streets across Louisiana will attend. And the only other thing was, I didn't see it in here, the Clean a City contest. We got an email over the weekend, so we're now in state. So we actually won district also, and I think we're up against, let me see, what team? We are up against, from the itinerary, River Ridge, Bogalusa, and West Monroe. And the ladies are supposed to be here Wednesday at noon. And there was no, next Wednesday. And there was no further business to come before Community and Economic Development Committee, and I will recess.
And it was just, I don't know if Mr. Morgan is still here. Mr. Dale Morgan. Is Mr. Dale Morgan here? Mr. Morgan had amended the agenda to recognize.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay. Is that okay?
I forgot about it.
All right, no, you're okay. Thank you, Mr. Reggie. Next, Revenue and Finance, Mr. Cavell.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Revenue and Finance Committee convened on Wednesday, May 5th, 2021 at 4 p.m. in the council chambers. A quorum was present. Under the action items, a motion was offered by myself and seconded by Alderman Sammy Reggie to table the request of Police Chief Jimmy Broussard for an appropriation of $13,690.41 from the general fund to the police department's budget line item 100-44-106, emergency overtime for services performed during the Hurricane Laura event, August 26 through 31, 2020. Note, the federal cost share is 90% if approved by FEMA. The motion carried. Alderman Brad Core, Alderwoman Kim Stringfellow voted nay. A motion was offered
I'd like
by,
to make a motion, please, to untable that item.
Second,
that's not an action item.
No, sir.
It's under action
it's
item.
under action item.
This is action items, reading the report of the action items of the committee.
Continue, please.
We can't,
You've been doing this for 2 years now. You know this is actually the action items that came in for 2 years under the committee. That's what you're reading. The motion was tabled. There's nothing to be action on after that.
Continue, please.
The Motion was offered by myself and seconded by Alderman Sammy Reggie to table the request of Police Chief Jimmy Broussard for an appropriation of $41,443.69 from the general fund to the Police Department's budget line item 100-44-106 emergency overtime for services performed during the Hurricane Delta event October 7th through 13, 2020. Note, federal cost share is 75% of the approved FEMA. If approved by FEMA, motion carried. Alderman Brad Core and Alderwoman Kim Stringfellow voted nay. A motion was offered by myself and seconded by Alderman Sammy Reggie to table the request of the Police Chief Jimmy Broussard for an appropriation of funds from the general fund to the Police Department's budget line item 100-44-347 computer/info technology for the purchase of a need for software. Motion carried. Alderman Brad Core and Kim Stringfellow voted nay. A motion was offered by myself and seconded by Alderman Sammy Reggie to table the request of Police Chief Jimmy Broussard for an appropriation of funds for the general fund to the Police Department's budget line item 100-44-347 computer information technology for the purchase of 5 laptop computers and software for control units utilized during each shift, installation of mountings, hardware, and wiring of all control units. Motion carried. Alderman Brad Core and Alderwoman Kim Stringfellow voted nay. A motion was offered by myself and seconded by Alderman Sammy Reggie to table the request of Chief Jimmy Broussard for the addition of 4 police officers slots intended primarily for traffic enforcement. Motion carried. Alderman Brad Core and Alderwoman Kim Stringfellow voted nay. Under the 9 action items, Mayor Monson informed the committee at the request of Alderwoman Kim Stringfellow that he and his administration are always working on the budget, and the budget for fiscal year 2021-2022 is presently being worked on. There was no further business come before the Revenue and Finance Committee. The committee recessed.
Thank you. Engineers report, Mr. Mayor. Resolution no other business, could we move that